Welcome, welcome, and welcome to the club where brilliant and messy, or should I say brilliant but slightly messy, or maybe incredibly messy, creatives are building businesses and getting your life together. Ooh, it is so good to see you as you come in. I think she's coming in. Yes, good to see you. Welcome. I like that you are just coming for the overall, the recap where we talk about what we did every single day this week and what came up. And you all, this was a really good week. We have a very good topic this week. And the way you tweaked it, because in the club, it's a living, breathing company. It changes as you inform it. The tweaks that you all made to it through your coaching, through your wisdom, through your conversations, even up to the last 2 hours of my life, are changing how I see what your very real problems and my very real problems are, and different ways of solving them that serve us and that maybe set us back. So if you're clear on why you have, whether it's a goal or just something you're wanting to do in your life, meaning you have truly cultivated it of why you want to do it and who you're going to become, and you've taken it out on a few dates, or you've become intimate with who you want to become as you overcome the obstacles between you and whatever it is you think you want, then you probably already know what I'm about to say. The best part of even having a goal or setting a goal is not when you get the thing. The best part of having the goal is having the goal. The moment you set the goal, you have access to finding the part of you that can flow between obstacle and release and obstacle and danger and obstacle and pleasure. The moment you set your goal, you step up into your higher self, your next version. This means when you're having fun doing the things you need to do, you can also be glorious and flowing. And when you're not having fun, when you're angry, when you're struggling, when you're tired and mad, you can be on the phone with one of your beyond business besties being like, oh, did you see that? Like, that's mad. That's anger. You can still feel a state, a sense of flow of you becoming the next version of yourself, which is so nice because it does allow for a little bit more, well, that was fun. Well, that was nice to happen. Some people do not think of success and working toward a goal as fun. We think of it as hard. We've been taught to work hard for your goals, what you want. We've been taught to stress out and earn things by working hard. So some of us incredibly sensitive folks can be confronted when someone says, let's just relax, let it come, just stop doing the things, just try not stressing. What? When someone would say, oh, isn't business building so fun? There was a phase where I would be mad. Like, do not say that. In fact, I've observed that it's often easier and more common to think that working toward a goal, especially if it's big, and it seems like it's impossible when you're setting it, or it's really far off in the future, it's easier to think that that's hard until we get it, or at least until we get close to it. And so then we put the fun after the finish line. But what if there is no difference between the achieving phase, my friends, and the having phase? What if success starts the moment that the goal gets set, and the moment you become the person that even has a goal of fill in the blank? That's when the actual magic begins. I'm sure you have heard of these philosophers and teachers and coaches. The one who invented like Stoicism, Epictetus, I think is how you say his name, Marcus Aurelius, Rene Descartes, Aaron Beck, Albert Ellis, Carol Dweck, Tony Robbins, James Clear, Brooke Castillo, Joe Dispenza, I think was brought up this week, Byron Katie, Michael Beckwith. If you've taken landmark forums, if you've done Vipassana meditation retreats, all of them have formed their entire body of work, or even at least a part of their body of work, and their intellectual property. And some of them, Brooke made millions and millions of dollars and made her name in the industry around teaching the very simple, very straightforward, and very powerful concept of The thing, the circumstance, no matter what it is, that being neutral, it doesn't have an inherent meaning in it. It doesn't mean you have to think a certain way or behave a certain way or feel some way about it. It's as soon as you think something about the event, as soon as you have a thought, that's what causes you to then feel feelings, bring up your, like it sets a whole chain of events. Once you think a thought about an event or a person or something factual and neutral, you think a thought, that leads you to having feelings, which is why 1,000 people can have 1,000 different thoughts about the same thing, right? And all of those teachers, all of those philosophers that we respect and are grateful to forever, they go on to teach that it's our thoughts, not the circumstances, that bring up the emotions, which is why 1,000 people can feel 1,000 different ways about the same circumstance. The thing itself is neutral, but the thoughts and the feelings, the meaning that we give to something, and usually there's the meaning that's pretty obvious, and then there's the underneath meaning. And there's the underneath meaning all the way back to the little tiny you in there that's really the one being like, I'm afraid it means this about me. I'm afraid it means this about my future. I'm afraid it means this about my safety. And those meanings are anything but neutral. The thing is the fact, but every single thought about it, unless the thought is exactly and accurately describing just neutral, what the eye of a camera would catch, all those thoughts we are in charge of. We make them up. Our creative brain, our access to our past, our future, our knowledge, our intuition. Now, when several people start agreeing on sets of thoughts or sets of feelings, those things might start to feel more factual. So we forget that they're all made up in the first place. And when we think thoughts for so long and it takes a time under our belt to be thinking these thoughts and they become beliefs, we definitely forget that they were all made up in the first place. And when we make the same meaning happen over and over and we feel the same feelings over and over, like for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, it starts to shape how we speak in the world, how we act in the world, how we listen to and engage with the world. It starts to become our identity with the world. We start identifying with the made up meaning. We start finding evidence to build because the brain is so smart and creative. We start building evidence that makes their thing seem very factual. The thoughts we made up. We start finding evidence and we fortify the meaning. We start defending and fighting for the made up meaning that now, of course, feels like a cold, hard fact. And so we become the meaning that we made up. Let me say that again. We become the meaning that we make up. We get very offended, angry, confused, very protective over our very precious meanings. Ask me how I know. Daily, I have to look at this. Daily, moment to moment. So when you work hard and you do hard things and you play hard and you feel hard emotions and you say that was a hard day and you're trying so hard, and when you make hard mean anything about you or how good you're being and how valid you're being or the importance of who you are, and hard becomes associated and integral with your integrity or your just who you are and who you are to people and your ability to be trustworthy. Even when everything is hard, it's no wonder you have feelings about that. So think about it. How easy is it to say for you, or how often have you heard other people in your culture say, it's so hard. I understand it's really hard. It comes out of my mouth on accident all the time. About jobs, about parenting, about eating healthy, about traveling, about finding a partner, starting a business, playing an instrument, starting a band, building a website, keeping the dang house organized. All of it hard. We work so hard. We have an especially tight grip, y'all, when it comes to this, but it's my livelihood. It's money, and I have to support my family. I get it. I'm very attached to that being a dedicated, hard thing I have to do daily. But important is not synonymous with hard. It can be important to you, and it doesn't have to just be hard. So let's go slow here because it can be activating for us. All of those hard things are also something else. All of those things are also other emotions, other thoughts, other feelings. Remember, the yin yang truth of 50-50 is always available. There's good and bad. There's sunrise, sunset, up, down, light, dark. Anything has its equal. So hard can also be easy. That is conflicting. I get it. Hard can also be interesting. Hard things are also compelling to us. Hard things can connect us to other people. Hard things can even be fun. So what if it's the tight grip that you have that you can't even see? The habit of thinking hard. What if that's the very thing keeping you just out of reach of having more ease, more flow, more fun, getting to your goals in a way where you enjoy the quality of your life along the way? What if the more fun you allow yourself to have, my friends, the better and the faster you get to what you want? What if that's the secret ingredient that we've been missing, that we keep buying the courses for and searching for? What if fun was just as much of a requirement for you, between you and you, for your goals and what your to-do lists? What if that was just as much of a requirement as working hard? I'm not saying get rid of working hard. I'm saying, like, what if we also added and you also require yourself to bring the fun? As in, if you weren't having fun, if you're not having fun, what if you consider letting yourself stop for a moment, an hour, go through a drive-through somewhere, call a friend, answer a phone call from a friend. Let yourself stop long enough to recalibrate and remember some things that are also true. What if you cannot access the wisdom, the creativity, and the intelligence you need for your goals, for your life, unless you ease up first? What if that heavy feeling is more within your ability to change than you think? Let me tell you, this week I had major stories. I won't tell them all on this recap call, but whenever you come and meet me, ask me about my crazy fun colonoscopy goal and how it's changed my entire life. And I tell these stories. I told one about calling my mother and realizing that I had been thinking about getting up in the morning wrong because I was modeling after something I saw. And I didn't realize until 47 years into the whole game that I didn't have the whole picture, and it changed me overnight. And I also told about, in my business, not being able to trust, not being able to lean on, not being able to give up some reins and some control because I really had the wrong thought about what asking and delegating really meant and what it could really feel like. It could be fun. Hadn't considered that. But all of those stories, anytime I tell you a story, it's only for you to be able to hear how another human being is learning how to meet her mind. Because that's what we're learning, darlings, to meet your mind, the inner voice in you that's going, I'm tired, I'm sick of this, I need it to change, I need you to listen to me. I need you to protect me, not anybody out there. I had lots of thoughts before those colonoscopies and the waking up in the mornings and the shifting into more of a CEO, actual like boss, babe, whatever we call ourselves these days in business. Lots of thoughts. I can't trust medical teams. I can't sleep the night before. I got all these things going on. I get good news about the outcome. I get bad news about the outcome. I had to feel big emotions about things. I picked fights when I didn't realize it was my emotions running the fight. I had to apologize for said picked fights to said husbands. Well, not really plural husbands, but multiple fights, plural. When we are feeling it inside and we're not meeting our own minds, when we're not hearing ourselves, that rage goes outward. Makes sense. But then we start hearing the rage and we start saying the things, or in my case, it was rage. It might be some other emotion for you. But the mistake we make is thinking that what we're saying and the thoughts that we're hearing come out are the truth and the only truth. Then we have to forgive ourselves. We have to ask for forgiveness. And we have to do the whole process about 1,000,000 more times. Eventually, I identified my thoughts in these areas of colonoscopies, waking up early in the morning and being the boss of my business. Get them out on paper. They're still coming. Still waves of emotion are coming. I identified all the actions I could take, that I'd be willing to take, that I wouldn't be willing to take, and made decisions. I gave myself the power of stepping back into my own power and making my own decisions, not outsourcing to anybody. And like I said, allowing. It's not that the emotions are done. I just talked to someone today going through a drive-through. I wasn't, she was. And the way she was going through life, her experience brought back my experience. And here I am, the emotions coming back, and I was both listening and managing my emotions and not believing all of my thoughts, not believing all of hers, because I know that's how thoughts are. They got to get out. We got to hear them, but we can't always believe them. Don't confuse important, my friends, for hard. And please do not confuse pleasure for fun. Think about what makes something fun to you. Maybe it's going slow, not being in a rush, giving yourself time. Maybe it's thinking of things as, oh, but this is just a little experiment. I'm just going to have fun trying this. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. I gave you some analogies about being on an airplane and going to somewhere tropical or somewhere fun for you, wherever that might be on vacation. You don't be all freaked out that the airport ride or the airplane ride isn't fun. You actually kind of generate fun on the airplane because you're anticipating the fun that's even going to come. So you're already having fun. Instead of thinking of delaying your gratification and pitting that against, but I want immediate relief and immediate gratification, and one being easy and one being hard, consider thinking that immediate gratification is simply small pleasure right now. We like that. The brain's always going to love that. But also think of delaying your gratification, aka getting to a bigger goal, as also deeply fulfilling and holistically pleasurable. And get to work finding evidence of how that's true. So, we have learned how to figure it out, how to freak out about it, how to go out in the world and find out about it. And now we are on this most activating subject for us, which is how to bring fun to things that are hard. And you never say, I'm going on vacation, but I'm only going to have fun once I'm in the ocean, or I'm only going to have fun once I'm on the roller coaster. I only have fun inside Disney World, never outside, or Disneyland. It doesn't start the moment you cross the gate, unless that's what you've invented for yourself. It's okay to have fun while you're planning it. It's okay to have fun in the car ride there while you're packing. It's okay to have fun on the way home, right? So why do we think that we're only able to rest, only able to relax, only able to enjoy ourselves once we finally figure it all out? That's a little bit insane hamster wheel, right? Your goal of feeling better, having more money, looking thinner, finding your one true love, doing whatever you want to do. Why not also allow yourself the opportunity to enjoy the planning of it? The curiosity about who you're going to become and what obstacles you're going to have to overcome. And then the tedious daily tasks that get you there that don't seem like anything. They even seem boring. We learned some very valuable lessons that will be coming back around to you about boring this week. What if you let it boring be fun? It's not about lying to yourself. It's not about gaslighting yourself. It's about embracing the real process of change and lovingly setting yourself up for long-term success, not just short-term, let me get my relief out now. It's about showing up for yourself in a way that makes the quality of your life right now. I'm talking to you making the quality of your life right now be exactly what you want it to be. I understand it might be new and very uncomfortable to require yourself to ask questions like, if I were to just step more towards ease, more towards what I'm wanting once I cross the finish line, whether that's fun or another word for you. Because the main obstacles to fun and flow and ease are the doubts, the thoughts, and the fears that seem like they are inevitable and factual. It is not an external obstacle. People have been happy and having fun in situations they weren't supposed to because it's not about the situation. But for us, it's so easy as humans not having something, especially not having the goal that we know we so want. It's become a painful, dreaded experience. And it's completely within your agency, my darlings, to change that. And in fact, it's probably one of the reasons that you even make the goal or have your sights set on something. There's some inner part of you that's like, this is what I'm here to solve for me right now. How do you feel fun though? How do you feel light or joyful when the world around you feels so heavy and everybody's being idiots? That might be something your brain says. How do you lighten up when this world is on fire and so many other people are suffering or causing suffering? How do you acknowledge the darkness and keep your nervous system still functioning? How do you keep the aliveness and the joy bubbling up in you? Because make no mistake, if we've learned nothing from the Gandhis and Jesus and Nelson Mandela and Michael Jordan and Taylor Swift and any of the greats that you call the greats, the greatest resistance to the destructive forces in your life and in the world, the greatest resistance to that is someone who can maintain the energy of love and refuse to let your aliveness die. My friends, nothing is worth your peace of mind. One helpful shift that I want to offer you is to ask yourself the question in the present tense and then ask your brain to answer it. Why do I enjoy? And then fill in the blank of your goal. Why do I enjoy hiking with my kids? Why do I enjoy doing 100 push-ups a day? Why do I enjoy going to work and making money? And make yourself answer that question. This will help your imagination and your creative mind. If a lot of negative thoughts might come at it first, but if they haven't, you haven't been asking yourself, but why do I enjoy already having the thing that I think I don't have? Why do I enjoy it already? It helps your imagination and your creative mind shift over to creating something new in the direction you're actually wanting to go. Fun and flow are a part of how your nervous system and your learning systems actually function. If you don't have ease and relaxation, we know, because us sensitives will start getting hives, our hair will start falling out, shit will go numb on our bodies. Indigestion happens. In my case, it happens in my intestines. Your nervous system has been evolving for some time. Your learning system responds to stress and gets resilient and moves through issues when there is rest and relaxation and fun present. You have to have that in adequate amounts. Your cell phone doesn't just run all the time. You have to put it down and charge it. It has to go to sleep. It has to relax, get some juice. Let's call that fun for the cell phones. So another helpful but still new and maybe wildly uncomfortable approach can be to replace the thoughts that are looping, the mad, angry, sad, scared thoughts of this isn't working, I gotta change, this isn't sustainable. Consider trying, well, if it's not fun, I'm not gonna do it. Now, confronting, yes, I'm just asking you to consider it. If it's not fun, I'm going to pause. Think of it this way. If your goal lives in a room somewhere and you're not in that room currently, your goal is in the other room, you're in this room. What is the room that your goal is in What does that feel like? Your goal has filled it with feelings and thoughts. What's in that room versus what's in the room you're in? What is that filled with? Go ahead, have a moment just now and consider what's different about the room that the you that's already achieved the thing or become the person, solved that problem. Maybe it's a problem in your life that you don't know how to solve right now, but there is a room, an imaginary room where you have already solved it. What are the feelings in there? What's the experience of that room like right now? That's all I'm asking you to consider. Because, my darlings, if you want to enjoy your life, if you want the quality of your life to improve, you must build the skill of bringing the fun into your own mind and into your own experience, even when you're in the muck, even when you're being challenged. I cannot believe that the colonoscopy feeling, as tough and challenging and scary and everything that could be, I could also have fun. I could also, it's connecting me in ways to people that I haven't even met before. It's guiding me in a whole new way. And it's also reminding me of a time in my life before when I didn't know how to meet my own mind, when I didn't know how to be there with my own self. How often do you look back on a part of your life and see that you did not have to suffer as much as you did? For me, that includes pretty much all of middle school, all of high school, all of college, weight loss in my 20s, dating in my 30s, and getting up early in my 40s. I did not have to suffer as much as I suffered. I'm guessing the same is true for you too. And I have sat for thousands of hours for over 2 decades, besides people who have been in 2 camps, having fun, playing music, whether they were good at it yet or not, and people insisting that they would have fun once they could furrow brow, stress out, and figure out how to play good first. It's so easy to think that being stressed and being busy and being intense is what makes us get our goal, but that just means your life is stressed and busy and intense. If you're not creating from a place that is not just completely empty, but there's a little juice, a little joy, a little fun for you, I would like to invite you to stop. Not forever, for now, for a moment to recalibrate. When you think about your goal, if you think the getting will be fun, like once you are there, but the process of getting will suck, please stop. You're on the wrong track. You've made a thought error or two. Consider, just even in your imagination, living right now with the feelings that you will believe you're going to have when you have the goal. This is the only way to not hate every step of the process, hate your life, and hate all the people around you. It's not going to be more fun when you get your goal. I'm sorry to be the messenger. Please don't shoot the messenger. It's not going to be even more fun than today. You have the same access today as you will then. And remember, it's you generating the fun. You bringing the fun from thinking the fun and titrating what would that fun room feel like? What would that goal being achieved feel like? That's going to produce ideas and actions and decisions that are more fun for you. Once I started to step in my fun, even with the business this week, y'all, one of my teammates was like, what if we had like a reception, like a wedding reception for the business? Fun ideas started happening. Why am I calling it workshops and retreats? Let's call it a wedding reception. Let's get some married here. That's fun. Let's give everybody some money. That's fun. It's not fun to get the fun result and then start feeling good and then suddenly everything's fun. That's actually not fun. That's torture along the way. You, darlings, create the fun, and you're allowed to insist on fun in your own life between you and you first. You can be cracking up in your own head even when something not so great is going down. And I know you already do this in some ways. You bring the fun. Not, you don't ask it. It's not from the world. It's from yourself. You are responsible for making it fun. Bring in the fun or the relaxation or the peace or the forgiveness, whatever it is you're wanting. And I know you do this, like I said, when you're in situations that compel you to do it, like if you're with a kid who is clearly suffering and doesn't have to be, or a friend, you turn on the understanding, the peace, the forgiveness, the wisdom, the fun for them. Even if you weren't previously feeling that way, you see that you want to be of service to them, so you know how to generate it. So ask yourself a new and maybe weird question in the present tense. Why are you having fun while you're right here? And make yourself bubble up some new answers. Ask yourself to do that. Why are you enjoying figuring out discipline? Why are you having fun flying on vacation? Why are you enjoying teaching the camp? Why are you having fun with hormones and Hashimoto's? Why is it fun to figure that out? And if your brain is like, girl, stop talking, I'm going to punch you, I understand. It's confronting. Why are you having fun? Insert anything that is unfun that you're trying to get to the fun part of. You can require the process to be fun. You can require the process to be fun of yourself. You can require that from you. And then you get to find ways and trust your creativity to bubble up ways, or at least have the self-love and the self-compassion to stop and recalibrate. This is not a blanket excuse when I say stop, to just stop on your goals, stop on your desires, stop on your dreams. Like all our work in the club, this is nuanced, my darlings. This is an offering, though, to you of a different way to consider. Consider including your own joy in the process of achieving your very big goals, very challenging goals. It's a permission slip to be committed to your experience of fun, stillness, peace, whatever's most important to you. Success can be created from being deliberate and dedicated to yourself and your freedom and your peace of mind first. Does it take work and mental energy and planning and dating your goals and your to-do list in a different way that maybe you were never modeled or taught? Yes. Might people look at you funny or even judge you? Yeah. Guess what? They're already looking at you funny and judging you. Done. Your biggest, bestest goals are going to be achieved by tiny daily steps that are enjoyable for you. That's going to be a game changer. It doesn't matter what it is, you are still allowed to think the thought, well, this is fun. Okay? So if you're going to be in charge of your business, in charge of your life, in charge of your family, in charge of your household, in charge of everything that's going on in you too, and you're living in a pretty intense world environment or community or family environment or work environment, and it's easy to be serious about all the things, let this in gently because it's equally true. You also get to make fun a requirement for your quality of life. It's why social media works, because our brains are going between fun and pleasure and doom and danger and protection. And that is always what we're doing. We see someone looking really good and then we compare ourselves and we go, uh-oh, I'm not there. Next pleasure, next dopamine, uh-oh, problem. Next pleasure, oh no, the world's on fire. It's endless pleasure, danger, and that's how human brains work. So someone had some psychology figured out when they were inventing social media. Many of us brilliant, messy creatives who got churned through some academic systems, a patriarchal system working at its finest or not so finest, government as usual systems that we maybe have been put through. It's hard for us to answer the question, what do I really want for myself? What do I require for peace of mind? So another approach can be to start asking yourself in more moments throughout the day, what would be a little more fun for me here? If I were to just step toward fun, what could create a little space for me here? How can I bring a little more fun to this situation or this task or this relationship? And sometimes we have to spend some time cultivating or recultivating our relationship to our own desires, to our own little, I just want to go to a park and drink wine coolers and be late for whatever I got this evening in Chautauqua Park. Our own sense of fun and ease. We've maybe gotten a little far away from it. We've become so good and regular and identified with being solid and responsible and serious and even stressed that it can be confronting to the part of us that prides herself in being solid and responsible and an A+ student. So when we make a goal for ourselves in our business or whatever is in life, and we slip right back into being serious and doing it hard all over again, it's no wonder we just keep wishing for more fun and peace and relaxation. But if we do all the steps to our goal, bearing down and painfully serious, that gets built into the outcome of the goal. The goal doesn't all of a sudden just yield all the joy. We might crash into the end and go, finally I can relax. Let me go on vacation for a week or two. That only lasts a little while though, because then the serious you has already been built stronger along the way. So she's back ready to pounce. But like everything, fun is even nuanced. It does not mean you have to be frolicking through fields, laughing hysterically. It doesn't mean you have to be in pigtails in the sunshine. That's one version of fun or a couple versions of fun. It might be, it would be just fun to see what I'm made of here. It'd be fun to go a little slow with my brain this time. It'd be fun to have my own back or see how I overcome this. It's going to be fun to trust myself in a different way. Let me just see if I can have fun meeting that future version of myself. Let me take 5 minutes to ask her some questions. It's fun to figure out how to obey myself once I've made myself a plan. How fun. You can think that and see what comes up. If it's just pure resistance, we know we got work to do. What if it's fun to surprise yourself? Or fun to have hard conversations and stay there the entire time committed to fun? What if that becomes fun? So I even showed you this week how I work with some of my clients, my one-on-one clients, and showed you a spreadsheet of exactly how we do backwards goal planning, going to the end of when they've achieved the goal, building in the fun and the relaxation first, and spreadsheeting it out, and then putting in the pieces, breakdownable to baby steps, and how you're going to have fun along the way with it. It's powerful stuff, my friends, and I want this for you. It will change your life. It already is. Let's have happy hour. Let's coach.